Hello, this is Morris Partee of Everything CU, and I'd like to show you all about Everything CU webinars in this short little video. So many of you have attended our Everything CU webinars, but we realize that there might be many folks who will watch this video who have never been to a webinar and might not be sure what a webinar is all about. So I'd like to demystify that for you. So you can see our big graphic on the home page is next webinar is effective cross-selling techniques, or if you're viewing this at a later time, it'll be a different webinar that's on deck. So if you want to find out more about the webinar, you just click on that icon and it will bring you to a page which enables you to order the webinar. Now this webinar that I've clicked on here, I've already ordered it. So the fact that I've ordered the webinar changes what you see in this box from ordering the webinar to actually entering the webinar. So I'm going to view our complete webinar schedule and click on a webinar that I haven't ordered yet. So right here you can see some details about the webinar, Overcoming Budget Blues, Tips to Improve the Budget Process. And if you're interested in attending that webinar, you would click on this green Next Step button. And that would bring you to a confirmation page where you type in your initials, click I agree, and that orders the webinar. So now you have designated that you're attending the webinar, and when it comes time for a day or two before the webinar, we will email you with the detailed instructions of attending. So back to the current webinar that I've already ordered. For those of you who have never seen a webinar interface before, I want to show it to you right here. So you can see that we've got the big Enter the Webinar Here link. So I just click that. Oh, and there's actually one thing I should show you before I show you the webinar interface itself, and that is we have the files that you might want to use while attending the webinar ready for you ahead of time. So we know that a lot of you like to make notes about what the presenter is saying, so we give you the outline file right here. Simply click on that file or download it to your desktop, and then you can print it out and make notes in the margins just as if you're at a live conference. So that's where you can always find the PDF of the webinar you're attending. Okay, so here we are opening the webinar interface itself. It takes a few seconds to load in. Once you're inside, you will see a screen showing you the presenter's current slide. If this were a live webinar, you'd also see a long list of attendees right here in this window, and you can click on any one of them to get more information, a little bit more of a detailed look at that person. You'll see what their job title is, what credit union they're with, where they're located, email address, and website. Same will be true of the presenter. You can click on the link of the presenter and you'll get exactly the same information. A couple of the other features that we really encourage everyone to utilize in the webinar interface is the ability to ask questions or to make comments as the webinar goes along. So you might have a comment for the presenter like, what do I do with tellers who absolutely refuse to engage in cross-selling? So as soon as I type in my statement, I just click that send button, and you'll see my comment pop up in the conversation box, and everyone's comments. And this comment is now viewable to everyone on the webinar, not just the presenter, and anyone can reply to that. We also encourage people to call in and talk to the presenter via live voice wherever possible. So that's why we've included the raise hand button. So if you have something that you would like to ask the presenter, you just click that raise hand button. You're not interrupting the presenter, but the presenter at some point will notice that you have your hand raised, and then he or she can call on you. And when that happens, when they say, okay, Morris Partee, I see that you've got a question, go ahead, Then you also press *6 on the phone line that you've dialed into for the webinar. That will unmute your line and you'll be live with the presenter. So you can ask your question that way. We know that there are many questions where it's much easier to simply ask the question out loud than to type it into the chat box. And then when the webinar is over, we've got the exit webinar button, which not only leads you to a PDF certificate of completion, which you can download right there, but it also leads you to this very brief survey. And we look at every survey response, so we always appreciate your feedback whenever you give that to us. So once you're done with that, you click Submit Your Feedback, and you're back into your online community. So that is webinars in a nutshell. If you have any further questions about it, feel free to shoot us an email or make a comment on Everything CU at any time. My email address is morris, MORRISS, @everythingcu.com. So thank you for making Everything CU your online community.